Okay, so we are trying to get rid of our industrial biases, our belief system biases, and learn how to step in the shoes of other people who are in industries that may seem like it is unethical and nefarious. Okay, because remember, we're living in a world where there is one belief system that is being promoted out there all over the world. And a lot of people go into different industries like the medical holistic industry thinking they're helping people, but not realizing that they're actually compounding the issues. But can you tell them that when they've been sold a song and dance from a very advanced marketing firm that is selling this type of education, that is also selling a product that is also giving what people are asking for? Because we wouldn't have the medical holistic industry if we didn't have the people asking them for what they're selling. Okay, so I understand that from a bigger point of view, from a larger or from a bird's eye point of view, when you look at actually how the human body works, and you look at antibiotics and probiotics, and then you look at the balance of the human body, and you finally have a bird's eye view of everything, and then you're seeing this one little area that's in the holistic allopathic world just selling the different remedies and the antibiotics and taking out organs and, you know, doing these invasive operations that cause people to have more degradation. It seems like it's nefarious, like they're purposely trying to harm you. And even though it may technically be that way, that yes, they are harming you because they are causing more imbalances, they are promoting antibiotics, which is anti-life, they are taking out a lot of your organs and doing invasive surgery, but you're asking for that. See, here's the thing. If people stopped asking for the medical holistic industry to be invasive and to take away their evolution, they wouldn't be there to begin with. And so it's going to take some time for us to re-educate the medical community, but it's not even the medical community. It's actually your friends and family. But even your friends and family, if they don't understand where you're coming from and they don't see the balance of what you're talking about. I mean, if you're saying, oh yeah, the medical holistic industry is so bad, and you're still, you know, very, very biased, and you don't understand that, yes, there definitely is some discrepancies in the medical holistic industry, then they're going to think that you're just like kind of off your rocker. And so we have to exemplify what a person who doesn't hang out with the medical holistic industry and does agility juice, what could be offered to somebody who does not even partake, and that they don't have to partake in that. Because remember, the medical holistic industry is actually a reflection of humanity. And they make money off each other. That's what I'm saying. The educated and the uneducated, they actually belong together because they're just regurgitating each other's wants and needs until they basically regurgitate each other out of existence. Okay? So I think it's incumbent upon us to start articulating what is actually going on when someone goes and gets bariatric surgery. You're starving yourself. What happens when someone gets chemotherapy? They're causing now cells in the body to not proliferate, to basically shut down the evolution, to stop the growth. Okay? And then cause more of the decline in a more gradual way. However, it's not really saving your life because you're going to die anyways. Now, if someone gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, well, because they have so much growth in one area and most of their body is dead, or the cancer is usurping so much of the energy in one area because it hasn't been distributed, and it shuts down the vital organs. And so that's why they turn to chemotherapy or cannabis to try to stop that evolution of the cancer cells and stop the growth. But then you are stopping growth in other areas of the body, causing more of a decline. And that's why we have to learn how to be articulate, okay? And start speaking in a very intelligent form versus all of your feelings or versus trying to, promote scripture, which I understand, Christina, scripture is the thing that you turn to, but it's going to go over people's heads that are looking for more of a scientific explanation to your belief system. That's why it's so important to understand the science behind the jelly juice, because people will get lost in the words that they don't understand. And so this is where, like, I'm trying to now find a way to articulate what, just what caused me to write the jelly juice protocol. Okay, I'm trying to articulate where I was before, prior to J Juice, where I am today, and then give a little bit of my background, and then go into the science from the micro to the macro, and then realize that everything is connected. And that, yeah, when you're taking the chemotherapy and the cannabis, and when you're doing all the different antibiotics, and you're taking out organs, and you're sewing up your stomach to fit in a little bit of food, you're basically starving yourself. When people are only eating vegan and vegetarian, and they're becoming so skinny, and they're asking their raw vegan group to say, hey, how do you guys, stay warm? Because I'm always freezing all the time. And I'm like, go eat a hamburger, go eat, a donut, get some fat on your bones. Make sure that you have enough sugar in your system, so that way you can support your DNA structures. Okay, because right now your telomeres are shortening because you keep starving yourself. We have to learn how to articulate the science behind the J juice. Because what happens is people get lost in the politics and the religion around J juice, but they don't know how to explain the science. And so I'm trying to give you some of these words like, biochemistry, imbalanced biochemistry, with the fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals, okay? And then the microbiome, have to have a balance in the microbiome, because all of that influences your politics, religion, and science. And so, I would love to explain to an ER surgeon or an ER doctor or an ER nurse or an anesthesiologist that vaccines could cause so much antibody action potential that the person won't have what it takes to handle the vaccine. That not everybody can handle the vaccines. If a few people can handle the vaccines, that's great, but it should not be a universal thing. Everyone should be, tested in such a way where they can kind of see what predispositions would come up. So if I was an ER doctor trying to promote vaccines, or an anesthesiologist trying to promote a vaccine, I want to know your background, your medical history. Be like, okay, you take this vaccine or get exposed to this virus, and you have diabetes, cancer, you have all these different predispositions that this vaccine, and then that's what's on the inserts. So you read the inserts, and you are giving people every piece of information. But the thing is, no matter what you do, if you don't get the vaccine, or if you get exposed to the virus, your predispositions are going to come up. And so now what's the next step? Supporting your body correctly so you can handle that action potential of the new virus in the environment, whether it's in a vaccine or in the environment, and you can still survive your predispositions and overcome them at some point. Okay? And that's the thing is so important, is that we got it. We must not only get to our friends and family by being very articulate and very intelligent, not so much in the feelings, okay? But we also have to, find a way to get to our doctors who are making a shit ton of money off of harvesting energy from their clients. But they get paid too much, so they probably don't have an incentive to really listen to anything but what they were taught, because they got student loans they got to pay off. It wouldn't serve them to just forego their whole industry that they've worked so hard for and gives them so much, prestige, that they'll just be like, whatever. They're okay with passing away. They're okay with reproducing and passing along those genetics. Okay? And so I don't think the doctors are nefarious. I think that they're just taught and was pounded into them that people should die. And the only way to give somebody kind of relief is to take out what's causing them controversy, anesthetizing. Okay? And so this is why the jelly juice people are so important. And I'm not telling you to go spend your whole life promoting jelly juice, but find a balance to be able to articulate and reach people through the science part of it as well as their own issues. But I don't want people thinking that all doctors, yeah, there's nefarious people everywhere. Not only in the medical profession, yes, because they're giving away, they're writing prescriptions to people who are drug addicts. That's horrible. But there's nefarious people in the religion world. There's nefarious people in the politics world. There's nefarious people everywhere. Doctors just do what they're told to do. They do what they were taught to do. And it may not be, financially feasible for them to just say, okay, I'm giving up my membership to the American Medical Association and forego all those years of college, whether at Vanderbilt or Harvard or Yale or wherever, because it's so prestigious and they owe like $200,000, $300,000. It wouldn't behoove them to go say, okay, now I'm going to promote Jilly Juice, and now you got to feel pain. And now they have to and try on the fact that people could live indefinitely when they were told people should die someday. That you have palliative care that makes a lot of money. 7 billion people dying at different times. The funeral homes make a shiz ton of money. Do you think they're incentivized to say, okay, now you could potentially live indefinitely and, hey, get away from all the different prescription drugs and all the antibiotics and the painkillers because you've got to feel your evolution? They're not going to do that. And the people who sell drugs, whether it's cannabis or other types of stuff, or whether they're a nurse and they're selling, their services, it's not going to be really, incentivized for them to say, okay, now you got to feel pain. Now you potentially could live indefinitely. And now you got to eat food that you were told not to eat. I mean, it's like we almost have to just let the people who believe these things destroy themselves. Okay? And then you now have to be the one to exemplify what indefinite life means, what being non-biased means learn how to take a middle ground, learn how to stand in the shoes of the other person, and find a way to reach them through intelligence. And that's hard for me too, because I'm so used to reacting. Oh my God, this and that, but I'm learning now to take a middle ground. I only enforce the rules in my group. I'm not trying to make anyone do anything they don't want to do. I don't try to sway someone to do this. Let me tell you, the Jilly Juice will sell itself if you stay on it long enough and you've read the science behind it. We don't need somebody to go and try to, hit you with a sales pitch. No one should be selling Jilly Juice. If anything, y'all talk about your experiences, not just from a symptomatic point of view, but a very well-rounded point of view, body, mind, and spirit, not just the body. Oh yeah, I got a symptom that disappeared. Okay, that's great. But I'm telling you, there's more to Jilly Juice than just your symptoms. There is the mind, how you think, how you perceive, getting rid of your biases, and then there's the spirit. How do you conduct your life? Are you still part of the whole political landscape? Are you still part of the religious landscape? Are you still part of the science landscape where you're selling a specific type of science that doesn't encapsulate everyone, to where you can understand that, yes, there could be 20% of the population that will take a vaccine and have major adverse reactions, and maybe there's 80% that could possibly handle it and survive it. But yes, you're seeing mainstream media say, yes, someone took this vaccine, they died of it, then they're being denigrated for that because it's too premature to make that, correlation equals causation. Well, I mean, some people can handle the chemotherapy and other people can't. Some people can handle the cannabis and other people can't. And guess what? Everyone has to choose their belief system. Do they want to live indefinitely, or they just want to keep anesthetizing themselves out the door? And everyone's like, that's great. As long as it's not categorized as COVID and they didn't get a vaccine, that's okay. They can pass away. That's what I see right now in the conspiracy world when it comes to the virus and the vaccines and how they code people when they pass away. They're like all up in arms that people are being coded COVID, all up in arms around the vaccines, but they're okay with their friends and family dying from cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And won't even really give an option for the Jilly Juice, really, because it would not fit within their narrative of their political platform, of which I've been talking about lately. That, I see that with some people that are in my Jilly Juice world, that, they've given up Jilly Juice. It's not part of their platform anymore because it doesn't serve their actual agenda. Like, some people treat Jilly Juice as a fad, and I know it. They know it. I knew it a long time ago. They've lost their luster for life because it was too comfortable to get into the for and against arguments, the biases, confirmation biases. And so, so now I see my biases, and I always have to correct myself when I do go into a confirmation bias. I had to look at that word because I knew there was a word, there's a term like that I just, okay. Confirmation bias, what is that? The tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation of one's existing belief or theory. So there you go. So those that are in the politics world, whether it's Trump or Biden, and the religion, as well as the science, will always turn to their confirmation bias, and that's what justifies their existence. But no, they can't promote Julie juice. No, they can't do Julie juice. And no, they can't give a testimony that encapsulates the body, mind, and spirit. No, it's all about little aspects of Julie juice that they're comfortable with sharing that's really superficial. And then, yes, they're not doing Julie juice, or they're doing it a little bit, and they're smoking the shit out of their pot, and they're taking their supplements, and going to the doctor and getting all these different prescription medications, and they're like, oh yeah, I believe in life, when it's completely opposite. Oh yeah, you don't kill a baby, but it's okay to destroy yourself. It's okay to destroy grandma. But don't promote abortion, but you're willing to destroy yourself. So there's a lot of hypocrisy out there that I'm aware of, and this is where, I can't assume the intent of anybody. Because remember, there is nefarious people and very honest people in politics, religion, and science. And then really what is the draw between, or the controversy between politics, religion, and science is the fact that people have biochemical biases. Their biochemistry is running their belief system, and they think that's their reality. And then they try to project that onto the world as if it was like a universal thing. And it's not, because I know where you're coming from. You're coming from a biochemical bias because you have imbalances, because I know your lifestyle and your belief system. And that's what Julie Juice aims to do, is get rid of every single bias, biochemical bias that you have. But if you're very religious, if you're very political, and you're very scientific, you're not going to want to release that identity, because that is your identity. And so that's a hard thing to penetrate, is someone's identity that they've chosen and they don't want to give it up. And that's why Julie Juice does not work for everybody, because people are so ingrained in their belief system, not even Julie Juice can penetrate it. And then they'll have a very predictable outcome at some point. And they'll stop sharing their experiences. They'll disappear. They'll leave the group, and they'll go stay with their little friends who are in the same biochemical bias. So I know I've watched enough people in my world, in the past as well as in the present, their journey on the J juice, and it's predictable. The ones that have the staying power are going to really exemplify balance in body, mind, and spirit, unifying all body, mind, and spirit. And it's going to come up where they have no more biases. I've had to peel away the layers of my biases the last 6 months. And it's been a journey, I'll tell you what. And some of you have not even begun that portion of it. You're still working on your symptoms, but you haven't even contemplated that your belief system, whether it's politics, religion, and science, is also a bias that you may need to examine a bit more closer. And maybe you're on your way there, because I know some of you have a lot of physical ailments that you still have to deal with. And so, no, it hasn't reached your spiritual side or your mind yet, because your physical issues are still exponential. You still got to work your way through those. And I'll tell you, it's body, mind, and spirit. Body first, then it'll change your mind, and then your spirit. And if you haven't gone through your body stuff, then your mind and your spirit will never, ever get that kind of different thought process. And that maybe not what you want anyways. So we'll see what happens. Good luck. Bye.